Hi everyone, I'm Rita with Everything Homemade, and this is the 6th part to the series on how to garden. Now, if you are just joining us for the first time, you'll notice at the end of every single video there will be a link to the folder that will include all the videos that you have missed. There is some really critical information that I will not be going heavily into detail once again. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm repeating myself over and over and over. It is critical that you watch number 2 in the series because a lot of that information I am going to cover very briefly here. And if you don't understand, I will be always going back saying it's explained more in number 2. So definitely there will be a post here right now if you want to go and watch. Number 2 is on how we plant. I also go in depth on what dampening off is, how to prevent it with thieves, essential oils, and I go heavily into the whys, everything, also about moistening your soil, and everything you need to know. So this video then won't be as long as number 2 will be. So I really want to make that clear. The other thing is we are using the hashtag Gardening with Rita. You can join me on Twitter at Homemade Rita. All the links and everything once again will be in the description box below, and you can definitely join me there. If you would like to join me on Facebook, please send me a personal message saying, hey, I'm following you on Facebook. Give me a little blurb so I can weed out through all the other people that would like friend requests, so I can just judge a little better. Other than that, we are going to dive right in. So it is April 30th right now. I am filming 1 day in advance. Normally I do this May 1st, but because I have many people, really watching step by step on what I'm doing this 1 day in advance, so you'll be right on time tomorrow. We are going to go through how to plant cucumbers. We're going to go through zucchini, squash. I'm not going to do a melon, but I will show you how to do the melon because it's the same technique as doing squash or cucumbers. We are going to go through the cabbage family. We're going to go through the cauliflower, kale, broccoli. Those I lump into the cabbage family. So I'm in northern Alberta, Canada. This is a zone 1, 2, 3, depending on where you are in northern Alberta. So everything that I do is to that growing zone. So if you are, zone 4 and greater, you're obviously going to be warmer. Right now, the soil may be nice and warm to plant. I still got frost in my soil, 6 inches down. So use the information that I'm giving you and tweak it to what you know in your climate. I am teaching for what I know. I know the north. I've lived my entire life in the north. So that's what I am showing here. But a lot of the techniques that I'm doing can be transferred to your zone 2. You just may hey, this plant can be sown right into the ground. I don't need to start it earlier. No big deal. So we're gonna dive right into this. I've got my helpers. I have Ocean and Nova and Annika. Meadow is just antsy to go outside, so Orion and Grace have taken her outside. So if it's just us girls doing the planting here today. And so let's get started. So I'm gonna go over one technique first that I haven't seen anyone else do, and I discovered this technique at least 8 years ago, and it was when I was struggling trying to figure out how to transplant my cucumber plants, my watermelon plants. Now, on previous videos, I show you how to take out those delicate plants out of the pots and into the soil. That still is exceptionally important. But I'm going to show you another technique that works extremely well. Now, I really thought about this because I had planters in my previous house and how we were set up, and I wanted to plant much earlier than I would in container to pop them out. I wanted them to be already 3 months older. But by that time, you got a watermelon plant and all its vines all over, and it's huge. Where the world, you can't just flip it over. So one night I was sitting up in bed, and I think I was actually reading, and I was so discouraged because I YouTubed, I Google searched, I was going through, Pinterest ideas, and I could not find a single thing that would work in my mind. And then it clicked. It hit me. I kind of got struck by lightning in my bed, sort of speaking. And it all came down to something very simple. We all plant our containers like this. We take our container, we take this container. If you have an ice cream container, we pop off the lid, we put our goodies in here, and we plant, right? Well, why don't we take the lids to all these beautiful yogurt pots or whatever you're using, you put the lid on your container, you flip it over, you take a trusty scissor, you poke a hole. Now you can do this with a knife too. And then you cut the bottom out. Now you might be going, oh boy, she lost her marbles. I lost them a long time ago, and that's what my husband would have said. But bear with me for a second, okay? So we're gonna cut this out here, and then I couldn't find a knife. Usually I do this with a knife, but I couldn't find my knife this morning. So I'm doing this with a scissor. Okay, almost there. You getting that, Ocean?
Yep.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be pretty. Plants don't know that it's kind of rough. Now I have a pot, so I'm gonna fill the dirt in here, and then my cucumbers, my squash are gonna grow out. Now you always want to plant squash and cucumbers and melons, watermelons, zucchinis. You get the point, in either 3 or 5 seeds per container. And I'll go through that a little bit more and why in a second. So you have your seeds. Then, when it's time to plant, guess what you do? You make sure that this soil in here is not drenching wet. But when you do, then you take your plant and you gently will remove this lid. And there may be a little bit of roots, but this will hold because it's been in the pot. And then what you do is you have your hole and you bury this whole container without the lid. And you have not disturbed the roots. You have not disturbed your plant, and then the roots will continue to grow out. And when you're done with that plant at the end of the season, you just dig out your little pot and you use it for next year. So, what do you think about that technique? And let me tell you, it works. It is phenomenal how well it works. So if you are really scared to do that flipping technique where you put your 2 fingers on your little plant and you don't water your plants before and you flip it over where you don't disturb the plant at all and then you bury it, if you don't feel comfortable with that, this is the technique you want. Now you might want to also ask me, why don't you just use those little decomposing pots, sometimes they're coconut fiber pots. Well, in the north here, if we're really cool, they don't decompose very well. I've had them rot, I've had them mold, I've had roots stuck where they couldn't come out, so it doesn't work that great here. It may work great in warmer climates, but here, I don't like them. This, on the other hand, you have your plant come out, you gently take, and I will show you this because I'll be using this technique. You take the bottom out, you put your plant in, and you're done. Okay, so yes, I'm excited about this. Okay, you guys, you saw how I did that? I am going to cut a whole bunch of these out. here and get them ready, and then we're gonna start planting. So Nova, raise your hand, say hi to everyone. Annika, raise your hand, say hi to everyone. Okay, you two are going to do some cabbage family first. So you have your pots here. You need to fill them with dirt, halfway full or about 1.5 inches. So let's get some dirt in your pots. Now again, a lot of the techniques we're using were the same techniques in the video too. We are just planting different seeds. So you want to plant cabbage about 1/4 inch deep or 1/2 centimeter deep. They're kind of like a herb in that way with the depth that you want in your pot, but they don't like the heat as much as the herbs do. So just use your hands there, Nova, so it goes a little quicker. Annika, just use your hands. There you go. With herbs really like warm soil, and that was the reason why we put them on the heating pads, is to warm that soil to mimic the sun. Cabbage family, on the other hand, if they germinate too quickly and come up without the light and you don't catch them, then they get really leggy. And what I mean by leggy again, they grow, trying to find the light, and that's when you get really straggly looking plants. And you want to always prevent that. And I've been really showing you all the techniques that I know to prevent that when you're not using grow lights. So with the cabbage family, we are not going to use the heating pads to increase the rate of germination because they're a colder plant. They like the colder soil, and I don't want them to germinate that fast. On average, a cabbage plant will germinate between three days to a week already. I really don't need to speed that up. So Annika, I want a little bit more dirt there. Nova, I want a little bit more just because that container is a little higher. Ocean, welcome back. You found my missing seeds?
Yep.
Yay, you found the kale. Good job, thank you. Guess what you're planting? Kale. So I want you to take your bowl over there, and I would like you to fill your container up. Again, kale you want about 1.5 inches of dirt, about half of that container, Ocean, packed down, and then we will open up our seed packages. So Nova, in the meantime, why don't you go get me a container, 3 of them, we're missing that, so we can open up our seed packages. So take a look at Annika's container here. She's kind of high on this side. She needs more dirt on this side, so you always want it even. So add a little more dirt on this side. Thank you, Nova. So while Ocean gets her ready, let's open yours up. So we have, what do we got here? We got a green cabbage. So I want you to open this one up. We're going to do green cabbage in this container. Now the biggest thing with cabbage plants are those nasty what, you guys?
Cabbage moths.
Nasty white cabbage moths that devour and make a disgusting mess of your plants. We will try to prevent that by starting them earlier, by trying to miss the season, but also we will have to be using netting. We are also going to be growing marigolds with our cabbage because marigolds are supposed to repel the moth. It's not 100%, but we're going to combine a whole bunch of techniques so we can at least eliminate a lot of it. So if you take a look, this is what the average cabbage seeds look like. They usually look like little balls, or they look like miniature cannonballs, don't they? They're very, very round. They are sort of easy to sow and sort of not because they are roundish. But Nova, what I really want you to do is really try hard, and we're going to basically drop one there, and basically you can go about 1 inch apart and just keep dropping as good as you can. I mean, they're not exactly the easiest thing, but try to get an even spread across. Annika, I want you to open up Actually, this one's already open. This is cauliflower, so I want you to open up that back, and I want you to pour the cauliflower into here. Ocean, while she is opening that, I want you to open your package. Now, this particular package has the seeds coated in a clay mix to increase germination. This is supposed to be a non-toxic mix, but these are the only, usually I don't purchase things that have a coating on it, but I'm using the seeds that are available to me, and these are the only kale seeds I have. So that's, guess what? That's what we're planting. Okay, so there's not that many seeds in here, Annika, so I have another pack. Why don't you open that up and drop it in there as well? So as she does that, I'm going to go back to Ocean. Now, Ocean, you got bright red seeds. I want you to do is the same technique we just did with Nova. I want you to put them about 1 inch apart. Now, you do not have to plant kale ahead of time. The only reason I'm planting kale ahead of time is to get ahead of those little pesky moths. Otherwise, kale can go directly into the ground. If you are in northern Alberta or in a cooler climate like I am, it is actually favorable that they germinate in cooler soil. So these would be one of the things you would do right when you can get into the garden is all your cabbage family. The problem is those moths. If I don't start them early, it seems like they germinate then right in time for the moths to devastate them. So we're going to do, like I said, a combination technique, but this way my harvest is a bit earlier, and I also don't want everything to be harvested at once. I don't want the cabbage to be ready when the carrots are ready and the cucumbers are ready, and I'm just going nuts in the kitchen trying to can and dry, and then I just feel like a chicken with my head cut off. We're running around so silly, aren't we, Ocean? So having things ready in different times is a blessing when you only have literally, 3 weeks of harvest. You are going insane. So if you can take a look, you can see what Ocean is doing a lot easier than what Nova is doing. Nova's doing the exact same thing, but you can see Ocean's seeds. Okay, so you're doing awesome there. Nova, I'll pretend I can see your seeds, but you're doing a great job. Okay, keep it up.
It's done.
Keep it up there, and very good. Okay, what are you having trouble? Okay, so Nova, can you give your sister a hand and open that pack up? Just rip it. Just rip it. Be a little more violent to the pack there, okay? And dump it in. Now so Nova, I'm going to get you to get the painter's tape and marker and start and label this one because we'll put the soil on top after you plant some broccoli.
Okay, what about the rest of the cabbage seeds?
Yeah, we'll deal with that in a second. We'll just save them. Okay, so Annika, I know these seeds are a little harder for you, so what I want you to do is just take it and just kind of move them around and cast them in, okay? Ocean, back to you here. You're doing great.
Cabbage.
Okay, so what I want you to do is always label, you guys, a really good reminder, because let me tell you, don't ever think you'll just remember every single container that you did. So label cabbage here, and then I want you to plant broccoli. And broccoli, you guys, exact same way that Nova and everyone is planting, literally plant the whole family the same. So you're done there, Ocean, so let's show them how to put the top layer on. You're going like a herb, but a little thicker than that. You're going about that thickness, about a 1/2 centimeter or 1/4 of an inch. You're putting the dirt over there.
So sort of like that thickness?
Yes, but a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
A little bit more. So Nova, I want you to get a container ready for the broccoli. And once you're done the broccoli, then we'll cover all the cabbage here that's around you. So if you take a look, we have some extra cabbage. And don't waste seed. This seed will be good for next year. We're gonna just put it right back into the container. I'm gonna then fold it over, and I'm just gonna put a little painter's tape and seal it shut.
There we go.
Perfect. A little more in that corner. As you can see, I still see a seed here poking out, so let's give that a cover. Put it over there. Awesome. Okay, now what we want to do again is pat it down really nice and snug so the seeds make contact with the soil, and that's really important. It's kind of like snuggling them in bed, only their blankets is the soil. So the flicking technique.
We need thieves in it.
Oh, we need thieves in it. Good job, Ocean. Okay, you guys, into my essential oil cabinet. We are looking for thieves. There it is. So I make my homemade thieves. I will put that up. You can also buy it already made. I prefer to make it myself because I can make it in a bigger portion. So you're doing 10 drops in the half a gallon there, Ocean. And thieves is again to prevent dampening off and any kind of mold growing. And it works very successfully. You got to remember that this is an essential oil solution. Essential oils are very potent. So don't think that 10 drops isn't that much when it is a lot. Awesome. So we showed you the flicking technique of watering, and Ocean's going to demonstrate it here. You want to go back and forth really fast so you do not drill holes in your plants, and that is good, Ocean. You also do not want to ever overwater. You can see on my sides of the container, you can actually see the water soaking into the bottom, and that's perfect. So what I need you to do, Ocean, is label the container. Okay. So Annika, are you ready to go there? Did you get them in? Good job. So Annika, what I want you to do is exactly what I explained there with Ocean. I want you to nicely put some dirt over those wonderful seeds, not too much, and just get them nicely covered. So you work on that for a moment. Nova, have we planted the broccoli yet?
No, not
Okay, so open that up. Let's just show them how the broccoli looks. Ocean, in the meantime, while we're filming here, yes, put those seeds. You know, you can do 2 kale, Ocean.
Okay.
Yeah, do 2 kale. Again, take a look. Take a look. The seeds look identical to
Cabbage.
the cabbage because they're cabbage family. So I want you to again sow those seeds in there.
Is this deep enough, Mom?
It looks awesome. So we're gonna take a little break here, you guys. We're gonna finish up exactly the exact same thing that Ocean just finished. We're gonna finish up the rest of the pots, and then we're gonna start to cutting up those yogurt containers right there, and we're gonna start planting in the cucumbers and melons and squash.
Zucchini.
Zucchini time, isn't it? Okay, so what is really important, Ocean, that you learned from Mom about planting zucchini and squash and melons, all those things with the seeds in the container?
Is it that you need 3 or 5 in them?
And why? Can you tell everybody the reason
Do
why?
they like friends?
They love friends. So I want you to go like this with your finger. Okay? Best friends love their roots being tangled together. Okay? They want to know that their buddy is right beside them. They hate being lonely. Would you like being lonely in the pot?
Nope.
Nope. And neither do these. And so we plant 5 seeds because not all seeds will germinate, and therefore we at least are guaranteed 3 that are gonna come up. Okay, and we leave them in there because we got to remember that these containers are only going to be out for the next 4 weeks. We're going to plant them in the soil, so I'm not worried about all the roots in here because I'm going to free them in a month time, so that's no big deal. So we want 4 pots with zucchini. Now zucchini is really, really important to grow, so go ahead while I talk here, Ocean, go ahead and fill them up. Leave about this much head space. Okay, from the top. So zucchini is really important in the garden as a bulking up fruit. Basically, if you're making tomato sauce, you can use zucchini to bulk it, to make more of something, to stretch it. It is also awesome fried. It is awesome in, obviously, zucchini loaves and baking. We really, really like to fry it up with, let's say, some onions, some cheese, some corn. Some people like bacon with that. It tastes awesome. That's exactly what we need. Good job. So zucchini is one of those really versatile plants in the garden. Now, it is also very prolific. So you don't need 100 of these. You don't want to overdo zucchini. They are also kind of a bush type. This is more of a compact zucchini that we are growing. They take a lot of space. So don't think that if you're like a couple of people in your household, 3 zucchini plants is lots. We are doing also canning and preserving, so we are going to increase our zucchini plants here, plus we're a larger family. Okay, you are all ready to go, so the first thing you want to do is grab the zucchini package. Now let me just show you guys exactly what we are planting here. I don't even know how to say that name. It's an heirloom variety, so go ahead, put it in Google, get a picture of it. That's why I'm not even going to attempt to say it. But there are hundreds of kinds of zucchini. Pick one that has a description that you like.
Those seeds are huge. I was expecting smaller round seeds.
Yes, they're a zucchini seed. They are like the size of pumpkin seeds.
They shocked me at the size.
You were expecting probably a little tiny like cucumber? Yeah.
Like really small.
Yeah, no. Okay, so you can see how easy this is going to be to plant.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do, Ocean, is I want you to kind of plant. Oh, I got this one stuck in my other hand. There you go. So 1, 2, kind of deal, and then put a 5th one right there. Kind of are putting them on all corners. There you go. And if all 5 would germinate, if this is a little too crowded, you might have to, take one out. But again, I want to make sure that our germination is good and that we got buddies for everyone. Now again, just keep on going with that, Ocean. What I want you to do is kind of center. You see you're really pushed off to the side here on this one. I want you to kind of just more evenly displace the seeds around. Okay?
Yeah.
So, and you're going to shake them up too? It happens to the best of us. Just fix it. No big deal. The other thing is with zucchini, you can put this directly in the ground, but I find that you really got to have warm dirt. Now you definitely could put plastic down and warm up the dirt, but I find just starting them 4 weeks before I would head out into the garden, they just get that head start, especially where we live. Anytime that you can gain a couple extra weeks is huge. Our last frost of the season is usually August 23rd. That doesn't give us much time, does it, Ocean?
No.
So we can have frost June 3rd, and then we have a killer frost as early as August 23rd. time is of the essence when we are living up north. So this looks really good, Ocean. What I want you to do now is, because you see how big the seed is.
They can have lots of push force.
Exactly, they got lots of push force. The bigger the seed, the more dirt that we need to go over. So now I want you to get the dirt level up now to just about 1/4 of an inch under this lip. Okay? And Annika, thank you so much for mixing that dirt for me. Do you mind getting me some more dirt? Awesome, thank you. So Ocean's gonna cover them up here, and I'm gonna give her a little hand because I really like...
Something like that?
Yes, something like that. The other thing, when you're dealing with garden soil, sometimes if it's really heavy clay, like clay soil we have here, if you plant directly into the garden, I would recommend putting some topsoil or some potting soil over your seeds, because what happens is that the ground gets so hard packed over the seeds don't got enough oomph to come out. And so sometimes it's smart to make your row, put your seeds in, and then instead of putting the dirt in the garden over your seeds, put some potting soil over that row so the seeds can punch through. Okay, very good here. That looks good. So Ocean, what you want to do is, you can't really do flicky with the water ring, but you can go a little bit flicky motion in here. You just can't do it as big. And you want to water these. You're just gonna have to wait a moment to let the water go down, and do that about twice. And that should be enough water in these little containers. The cool thing is when you flip these over with the lids on, these are meant to be already, just hold on, Ocean, just make sure you're not making a hole, okay? That you can move this around if you can't get to the other side as good. These are made to contain the liquid within the container, so they seal. Just like that. Isn't that awesome? So go ahead and water. We're gonna cut some more containers, and we're gonna do cucumbers next. So it's cucumber time, Annika. Why don't you spill those cucumbers in? We're doing early Russian cucumber. It's a nice about 50 to 60 day cucumber from growing to finishing. So Annika, what you want to do here, these are small seeds. If they have small seeds, you do not want to push them into the dirt at all. So what I want you to do is, you see the dirt level on these containers is a little bit higher than we did with the zucchini because the seeds are smaller. So what I want you to do is, I want you to place 5 seeds in a circle around here. And the exact same technique goes with the cucumbers, just what we did with the zucchini, only not as deep because they are smaller. So Ocean here, I'm going to give you some of her seeds, and you can also begin doing that. Just press these down a little bit, the dirt, and then do the 5 technique. This particular one is a bit smaller, Ocean, so only put
3.
You can do 4 in there, okay? And this one here. So these are going to be the cucumbers for the garden, and they're going to just go ahead and plant them in. And so these are all the same techniques for all the watermelon, squash, melons, all kinds of cucumbers. All of that is the exact same technique. So I'm not going to show you when we plant in the cucumbers because we're going to do the exact same thing that we did with the zucchini. And that's why I did the zucchini and the cucumbers to show you from a bigger seed to a smaller seed. But okay, so here, Annika, I asked for 5 seeds. You got a whole bunch more here. So I want you to take some out. You weren't quite counting. So take these ones and squish them in a little bit into a tighter circle there for me, please. Thank you. So here, Ocean, I would like you to, what is wrong with that container? And I'm going to critique you a little bit. One, because of learning, and one, it teaches everybody watching here.
I don't know.
You got everything over to one side instead of spacing it out. So what we want to do is kind of space them out. They don't, there you go. So that way they got a little bit of growing room. And same with this one here too. Everything's over to this side. I want everything more in the center. Okay, same with your container. And you guys watching, would it be the end of the world if she left it like this? No, but it would be better if when you are teaching that everything is going into a circle like that, Annika. Okay, more circular. And then they keep improving as they age. There we go. Okay, so now things are looking good. Now we need some dirt. So with the cucumbers, just leave that Annika for now. With cucumbers, you don't want it insanely thick, okay, or deep on top. You just want to have a nice layer.
Like that?
Just like that, because they don't have the oomph to get their heads up near as much. Okay, Annika, just put some nice dirt there. Okay, a little bit more. A little bit more. There you go. And a little tiny bit more. Okay, and Annika, I'm going to do the watering with these containers, okay? So we're going to water in our cucumber. Again, the exact same way. What I like to do is water and then let the water soak in for a couple seconds. Water again, and voila, that is that. Ocean, do you want to water?
Sure.
So let's make sure that the sides and everything, first of all. You gonna water my hands? I wouldn't advise it. And get it in here. So go ahead and water there, Ocean. I'm just pressing them down. Again, seeds like contact with the dirt. And you don't want, that's good, you don't want to well them. You don't want to push the seed all the way down into the container. You want to just nicely water them. Okay, so we are going to finish up all the other seeds. Well, hello to my new crew. So I was going to not show this, but then something happened because I couldn't cut the bottom to these bigger ones, and well, anyway, to make a long story short, I decided that we're gonna grow with taking the top off and show you the technique about popping them out. That way, we got 2 different techniques, totally able to show you. Both work great. So what we're gonna do is we actually have the 750 milliliter larger containers. These here are pumpkin seeds. They're called small sugar pumpkins. We're doing 5 again, just like the zucchini. She's going to do 5 there. Orion, you're going to do 5 here. We want them in a circular, and then we're going to put about a 1/2 inch of dirt on top. We're going to water it, and then when we go and plant in the garden, like I said, I'm going to show you guys how to do the flipping technique with these. And it's really critical to understand different techniques, because sometimes some techniques will work better with other plants, or sometimes you'll prefer one. That looks awesome, Grace. Good job. You're doing great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this one to show you guys. And I'm gonna just put some dirt on top, make sure that there's no clumps. Put some dirt there. Okay, and these are quite large seeds, so they have what we call what, Grace? Strength to pop through. Okay, so there you have it. So I want you guys to copy what I just did.
Okay.
And while they do that, I'm going to water these guys in. Again, same thing. I'm gonna water a little bit, let the water go down, and water again, and let it go down. Yeah, so what I want you to do is you're pressing really light. I want you to press just a little harder, okay? Make that contact with the soil to the seed. It's really important. And I'm gonna water yours in, Grace. Just like that. Now the biggest thing is we don't want these seeds to be pushed down. Okay, so now pumpkins have a pretty good root base. So the roots are gonna go nice and deep. They're gonna intertwine with each other and they're gonna hold the dirt in place. So when I pop it out, it won't be that big of a deal. Orion, this is yours. That looks really good. And then we're just gonna, and with these pumpkins, we're gonna utilize the rack technique that I showed everybody on my spaghetti squash video this year. We will be doing pumpkins instead of spaghetti squash, and we're gonna do the same growing technique as we did in that video. So we are ready, Orion, here to put the finishing touches because we got everything in its pots. So let's recap here. These are our heating pads. So you never want to put your plants directly onto the heating pad. Yes, they do got something over them, but I like a little extra safety where we just put a towel. That way there's no chance of any funny business happening. So we got the towels we used last time. So just grab the big green towel there, Orion. And what I want you to do is just kind of put it over them. Very simple. We just use towels that we nickname in this house dog towels. They're just older towels done like that. Now, as we brought these containers down, we utilized a basket. Now, baskets are really critical, especially if you're doing pots like this. There's no way you want to be carrying one by one. But when they are starting to germinate, Orion, I want you to take them out and I want you to put them directly on that heating pad so the dirt warms up. Because if you put the basket onto the heating pad, the basket will prevent the heat from penetrating the pots. So I want you to start working on that. Okay, and make sure you get them right onto the heating pad. That's right, just like so. Okay, the other thing is that you notice that we have the cabbage family pots kind of onto the table as well around my incubator. Those will just stay there. Like I said, they will germinate better if they're not on the heating pad. The heating pads are on just for these really warm, loving plants. So we have the last thing to do here. So what Orion did was we have all of the pumpkin and some squash. We planted 2 squash the exact same way again as your zucchini onto this heating pad. Here we put the zucchini over here in a grouping on this heating pad. We put the cucumbers on this heating pad, and we actually removed this heating pad because we didn't need the 4th one on to make room for the cabbage plants. Now, what we're going to do here, because we have groupings that they should really germinate, this little grouping within a day of each other, he's going to put that plastic over that grouping. And we're just using Klingon wrap, saran wrap, just the plastic film like you would use over your pots. And what he's going to do is he's going to tape on each side, which again creates that greenhouse effect that I talked so much in detail in the second video to this series. And I still utilize this technique with all of these. Now you could do separate pots as well. I just find that a little finicky with these. They will most of the time germinate really close, and if all honesty, if this one germinates and this one doesn't, then remove and take your pot out and just remove the plastic a bit. No big deal. And that's why we're doing in like seeds. Now if we didn't have groupings in like seed, then this technique wouldn't do as great because they wouldn't germinate in the same time as much. So this is what we're doing, a very easy way to increase your humidity. Again, heating pads and this plastic, they're cheap, it's affordable, and it works. That's what's so awesome about it. So Orion, continue doing that onto all of them. Now I will get him to do that onto these pots as well. I like the increased humidity, therefore I don't have to water until they germinate. So there you have it, you guys. Everything's ready to be germinated. Now it's just that waiting time. I'll see you again when things start to germinate, and we'll get these plants once again outside into the bright sun. So I want to thank you all for watching this series so far, for following me. I love all the comments. It really inspires me to keep going, to keep teaching. And again, at the end of every video, there's also a little blurb about my book that is out, and book 2 will be out this fall. So I hope everyone is safe and healthy and having fun with their gardening, and I will see you on the next video.